The air in the laboratory was thick with anticipation, humming with the quiet energy of discovery. Dr. Aris Thorne stood over a fragment of ancient bone, his eyes sharp behind the glass of his spectacles. The world outside moved at its usual relentless pace, but within these walls, time seemed to slow, stretching and folding around the secrets locked inside that tiny sliver of Neanderthal femur. It had been pulled from the cold earth of the Altai Mountains, a relic more than 50,000 years old. For Aris, it was more than a specimen. It was a message from a world long vanished, and he was determined to hear it. Aris's journey into the depths of human history hadn't started in a lab. It began in the quiet corners of old libraries, among the worn pages of books that told the story of humanity's spread across the globe. He was captivated by the great migration out of Africa, the puzzle of how our ancestors crossed continents, and the mystery of why other human species disappeared. But the more he read, the more he realized that traditional archaeology, for all its wonders, often left him with more questions than answers. Dates were uncertain, interpretations debated. Aris longed for something solid evidence that could not be doubted. He found hope in a new field, ancient DNA, or aDNA. The early days of a DNA research were anything but easy. The genetic material was fragile, often broken down to nearly invisible fragments by the passage of time. Contamination was a constant threat. Many in the scientific community dismissed the work as impossible, a wild goose chase. But Aris was undeterred. He gathered a team of passionate experts, geneticists, bioinformaticians, archaeologists, each one driven by the same hunger to uncover the truth of our origins. Their first real breakthrough didn't come from a Neanderthal, but from a single, unremarkable finger bone found in Siberia's Denisova cave. At first glance, it seemed insignificant. But when Aris's team extracted its DNA, they found something extraordinary. The Denisovans, a previously unknown branch of the human family tree. They were close relatives of Neanderthals, yet genetically distinct. This wasn't just a new twig on the tree of humanity. It was a whole new root, twisting and turning in directions no one had expected. The discovery sent ripples through the scientific world, proof that aDNA could reveal ghosts from our past that no one had even imagined. But the most earth-shaking discovery was still to come. With the Denisovan mystery fresh in their minds, Aris and his team turned to a question that had haunted scientists for decades. Had our ancestors ever mixed with other human species? For years, the story had been simple. Homo sapiens outcompeted and replaced everyone else. The idea of interbreeding was dismissed, even ridiculed. But the evidence was mounting, and Aris was determined to find the truth. The Neanderthal femur from the Altai Mountains became their focus. After years of painstaking work, developing new methods to extract and sequence the most degraded DNA, the team finally succeeded. One quiet night, as the machine's word and data began to appear on the screen, Aris and his colleagues watched in awe. The genome came together, piece by piece, until the truth was undeniable. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that bring history's greatest mysteries to life. Dr. Lena Petrova, the lead geneticist, broke the silence. It's irrefutable, she whispered. There, woven into the Neanderthal genome, were unmistakable segments of Homo sapiens DNA. Not just tiny traces, but significant stretchus-clear evidence of ancient interbreeding. The implications were staggering. Our ancestors hadn't just encountered Neanderthals. They had mingled, shared genes, and perhaps even shared lives. The news exploded across the world. The old story of a pure, unbroken human lineage was shattered. Most people outside Africa, it turned out, carried between 1 and 4% Neanderthal DNA. This wasn't a minor detail, it was a fundamental shift in how we understood ourselves. And the surprises kept coming. As a DNA research expanded, scientists found that the Denisovans too had left their mark. In Southeast Asia and Oceania, some populations carried up to 6% Denisovan DNA, far more than the Neanderthal contribution. This pointed to multiple waves of interbreeding, a rich tapestry of genetic exchange stretching across continents and millennia. One discovery, in particular, left the team stunned. In a remote cave in Laos, an ancient human tooth was found. At first, it seemed to belong to Homo sapiens. But when the DNA was finally extracted, it revealed an astonishing 15% Denisovan ancestry. This individual was a living bridge between two species, a direct descendant of a profoundly mixed lineage. It forced scientists to rethink what it meant to be a species in the first place, suggesting that the boundaries were far more fluid than anyone had believed. Then came the twist that no one saw coming. For years, the out-of-Africa theory had been the foundation of our understanding of human origins. But as more ancient genomes were sequenced, especially from the Middle East and early European sites, strange patterns began to emerge. There were genetic markers that didn't fit the established story. One day, Lena noticed something odd in the DNA of a 45,000-year-old Homo sapiens from Bulgaria. Beyond the expected Neanderthal traces, there were mysterious fragments that matched no known hominin. They were ancient, distinct, and completely unexplained. Aris urged the team to dig deeper. They compared the sequences to every database, every published genome. Nothing matched. It was as if these fragments belonged to a lost ancestor, a ghost lineage that had vanished from the fossil record. The team worked day and night, running models, comparing samples. Slowly, a pattern emerged. It pointed to a deep divergence, older than the split between Neanderthals and Denisovans, possibly even older than the first migrations out of Africa. After months of work and careful review, the conclusion was clear. There was evidence of a ghost hominin, an ancient human species that had interbred with our ancestors long before the Neanderthal encounters. The media called it super archaic. No bones had been found, no artifacts unearthed. Its existence was known only through faint echoes in our DNA, a phantom branch on the human family tree. The implications were profound. Humanity's past was not a straight line, but a tangled web of migrations, interbreeding, and lost lineages. We were not the sole survivors of a single, victorious species. We were, and are, a mosaica living testament to a complex, interconnected, and often unpredictable past. Aris Thorne, now respected and quietly famous in his field, often reflected on the journey. He had set out searching for answers, and found instead a world of new questions, each more fascinating than the last. Ancient DNA had not just revealed hidden chapters of our story, it had forced us to rethink who we are and where we come from. With every new discovery, every fragment of bone, another chapter was written, reminding us that the most powerful stories are not those we invent, but those whispered to us by the very cells that make us human. As the sun rose over the laboratory, casting long shadows across the humming machines, Aris knew that humanity's greatest adventures lay not only in the future, but deep within the echoes of our ancient, intricate past. If you enjoyed this journey into the heart of our origins, don't forget to subscribe. There's so much more to discover, and together, we'll keep unearthing the stories that make us who we are.